We have now lived in Germany for 2 years. So how do we feel about life in Germany? What are the things that we cannot get used to about living here? What can Germans learn from a couple of Americans? And how long are we gonna stay?
Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. I am Donnie.
And I'm Aubrey.
And we are two Americans currently living in Germany and sharing all of our experiences living and traveling throughout Europe. We have now been Germanizing for 2 years, and to celebrate, we wanted to do our first ever Q&A video to find out what you would be interested in knowing from two foreigners who have now been living overseas in Europe and specifically Germany for that long. You guys definitely came through with a lot of fascinating questions about our experiences over here that we will go through and try to answer as many as we can until we finally get to the biggest question of all. Are we going to stay in Germany for very much longer? And that is exactly what we are going to talk about today in our video. Have we found where we belong, or is it time to move along? Our experiences with Germany.
As we always mention in our videos, that is particularly true for this video, our experiences are definitely specific to where we are originally from, a state in the southern US called Oklahoma, and where we live now in the southwestern German state of Rhineland-Pfalz. Both of these places have their own unique subcultures that may not be representative of the two countries as a whole. Therefore, let us know your experiences with these things in the comments below and where you're from.
And to help us randomize the questions, we're going to be using a wheel that we're going to be spinning. So we are going to jump right in and spin this wheel to get our first question from you guys. Why did you decide to share your life in Germany on YouTube? So I wouldn't say necessarily that it was a decision to show our life in Germany on YouTube because, well, a lot of our new viewers came along once we moved to Germany and don't necessarily realize that we had a YouTube channel for a year before that we moved here. And so that was primarily just because we were traveling for a year and I wanted to document that. I wanted to be able to show our families back home what we were doing. And then I'm the type of person that I have a ton of hobbies, but I don't just have a bunch of hobbies that do surface level. I go way too deep with my hobbies. And so we just kept doing it once we moved to Germany, and it just became our life in Germany. Once I saw that is the videos that people were actually interested in more so than our travel videos. Did you really need German in your daily life?
I would say no. Depending on where you live, it could be yes. I mean, my job is in English, so I definitely don't need it for my job.
So we've shown the data before in previous videos. A large part of Germans speak English, and they do speak it very, very well. However, there are people that of course don't speak it, but those are more in like small rural villages. So for the most part, no, you don't need it. You can get away with just speaking English. However, it is really good to learn it. I mean, you're living in the country, so it would be good and respectful to learn it since you're living there.
What is your most favorite German habit you have adopted while living here? I love the little, what's it called? The little egg cracker thing.
How often do you find yourself cooking a nice boiled egg but can't actually eat it? You try cracking it, rolling it, smashing it to get that delicious soft inside, but every time it just ends up being a crumble mess of shell and egg. What a mess. Well, not anymore, thanks to the German engineering and the Eierschalen zur Prüfstellen Verursacher.
That's like my weekend ritual, is using that thing to eat my soft-boiled eggs.
That answer surprises me because I fully expected her to say coffee and cake.
That's the next thing I was going to say, is coffee and cake is a very regular part of my life now.
Both of our lives. By the way, if you have more questions you don't see in this video, leave them in the comments below. Also, if you would like to support us in making these videos, simply hitting that like and subscribe buttons and leaving a comment that you are enjoying our videos goes a really, really long way for us. Also, if you would like to support us in other ways, we have our Patreon linked in the description below. But now let's get right back to your questions. What do you miss most about the United States?
Of course, our families. But
our families.
Other than our families, good Mexican food.
That is a good answer. Do you still miss the same things from back home, or did it change over time? There are a lot of Mexican food restaurants in our area, and some of them have started tasting really good. So we have said over time, our taste buds are adjusting, and that kind of makes me nervous, but it also makes it good because the first time we ate at a restaurant, I was like, this is terrible. This is not what we're used to in the US in terms of Mexican food. The second time I was like, this is actually kind of good. And then the third time it's like, wow, this is good Mexican food. So maybe I don't miss it as much as I did when we first moved here.
Did you both have to get German licenses to drive? What is that process like? Ooh, so that process is different depending on what state you come from. We were lucky that Oklahoma has full reciprocity with Germany. The process wasn't too hard for us. We were just able to swap out our Oklahoma licenses for German driver's licenses. But some states, like, you have to do a whole written portion of the test to get your license. Some states you have to like go through driver's classes and just completely start over. But for some reason, Oklahoma, we were able just to swap them out.
And this is something that we've addressed in other videos, and we get comments all the time. Well, it doesn't matter if you're from the US, you definitely should take driving lessons when you get to Germany. I would say in terms of driving in Germany, definitely I do like driving here better. I will say that Germans do seem to be better at driving. However, it's not that different from driving in the US. So if you have full reciprocity, you're fine. Go ahead and leave your angry comments in the comments below. That's okay.
Ooh, does Donnie pee sitting down at home yet?
No, and I never will. What common parts of everyday German life still don't feel normal or comfortable to you? And what have you not done or experienced yet that you would like to do in the future?
I still like having one duvet cover.
The first thing that pops in my head, when we first moved here, there was like constant kind of a little bit of anxiety before you go into like a store or something, just because like I was learning German and I wasn't super confident with my German. But now that it's something that I finally have gotten past, I feel fairly confident doing most things in my daily life, being able to go to a shop and just confidently know I'll be able to speak with them. I can do the German and they'll be able to speak back.
Und auch einmal Big Mac Menü.
So that anxiety has kind of gone away. I feel pretty comfortable, I think, generally speaking. Like Germany feels kind of like home now, just in that I feel comfortable. I know how things work in society. I feel pretty comfortable in almost everything, I would say. But what have we not done or experienced that we would like to do in the future? We have a list on my phone of places recommended to visit, mostly from your guys' suggestions in the comments, that I add every single one of those to this list. And then I also have a special section that's just for different festivals. And that list is crazy long of the number of places we want to visit and festivals to do and things like that.
So I would say festivals. We did do quite a few festivals when we first moved here and things were all going on. So yeah, I would like to experience all of the different fun kinds of festivals all over.
And there's also a lot of foods that we haven't tried yet that partially have been kind of even putting off, like Met, that we're gonna have to do soon.
How often do you have spaghetti ice? I've had it once.
And I have had it 1.5 times because we shared that one time that she had it.
So I've had it half of a time.
Did you get an Eier pizza?
What's that?
That is something that we have actually not gotten, but that is a little tool that punctures a little hole in the shell so that when you boil it, it does something.
I think it helps it not crack as easily.
Oh, I think it's when you're boiling. Yeah, it's supposed to stop it from cracking when you're boiling it.
Which I haven't really run into the eggs cracking when I'm boiling that often, so I probably won't get one. But maybe. I don't know if you guys can convince me that it's really necessary, because I do like boiling my eggs now.
Literally like every morning.
What's your favorite food in Germany so far? I have come to love German food. I kind of go through kicks of certain German foods. I like to try them all. Right now I'm kind of in a sauerkraut kick. Love knödel. Any kind of knödel. All the, like the potato kind, the Semmel kind, all the knödel. I love Schweinhaxe. I love
Grünkohl.
Grünkohl. I love it all.
My classic, this is not even like a German thing. I know Germans and Austrians get upset when somebody's talking about German food and they're like, I love a Wiener Schnitzel. I get that's not a German food, but you find those all over Germany, and I love a Wiener Schnitzel. German breads, German pastries, cakes.
I love a German breakfast too. I know some Americans can hate on German breakfasts, but I love it.
Was Germany better than your expectations / worse than your expectations? That is a hard question, I think, for me to answer, just because anytime you're moving to a place that you've built up in your head as this romantic fairy tale place, amazing travel destination, all that stuff, I guess I'll just speak for us, but we were in a honeymoon phase of just in awe of our lives here. Just everything was new, everything was magical, everything was amazing. So it was kind of like above our expectations or met our expectations at first. And then just over time, it's just a natural thing where reality kind of more sets in, or you just kind of get used to your surroundings and you get used to the way that life works and everything.
Represents Greendale's first steps forward.
And so it doesn't feel as like glowy and magical, I guess you could say, now that we've lived here for a while. So it almost kind of feels like it's below expectations now, but it's not. It's just like a new normal has set in. And that's the idea that I'm trying to get used to, is that this is just normal now. And therefore, that kind of fairy tale magical stage has worn off a little bit, if that makes sense.
I think I'm going to disagree because honestly, I was just going to say, yes, it has been better than my expectation. I think even still, I mean, yes, it is not perfect and like we are in just kind of normal day-to-day life, but I think I like our day-to-day life here a lot. Yeah, it's not perfect. There's things that I don't love about Germany, but overall, yeah, I think it has been better than my expectation. I really love it.
Wo gibt's die besten Brezeln? And that is going to be our local... I forgot the word bakery. That is going to be our local bakery, but maybe they want us to say Bavaria. That makes sense. They would want us to say that, but it's our local family-run bakery.
They're amazing.
But actually, I think kind of a controversial opinion that I have is that maybe the best pretzels in the world are actually at a chain in the US called Auntie Anne's. Basically like a mall pretzel stand that's like in every mall in the US. And whenever you walk into a US mall, you're gonna smell like cinnamon and sugar and pretzel in the air. And honestly, that probably is even better than most German pretzels that we've gotten, but...
What is the most important thing you have learned from the German culture that has contributed to your well-being? I think they are really good at walking a lot and just being really active in all stages of life. I think I've loved seeing the older people, even really old people riding their bikes, or even like little ladies going on regular walks through their neighborhoods using their walkers. I am very inspired by that and I want to incorporate that in my everyday life. And we really have prioritized walking a lot and just moving. What's your favorite German recipe or thing you have baked? Donnie has gotten really into trying to bake all kinds of different German cakes, and we regularly rank them.
So if you don't follow us on Instagram, you should go follow us on Instagram because I post those pretty regularly, the different German cakes. We've done, I think, like 6 or 7 different cakes now and ranked.
A lot. I have like a top 3. They're all kind of tied for me. I think my top 3 are Donavella. There's a chocolate cake that Donnie made with a local red wine in it that was really, really good. And then he just recently made, what is this one called?
A Prince Regententorte.
And that one is amazing too.
Tons of work.
So obviously anything chocolate is gonna be in my top favorites, but they have all been amazing.
We have a big sweet tooth, so our favorite German recipes are probably gonna be the sweets. What do you like the most in living in Germany? And how Germanized have you become in these 2 years? I feel pretty Germanized, like already. For me, I really like the way that Germany is set up in terms of like city planning. If I have some kind of appointment, I can just go and walk to it. If I want to go to the grocery store, we can just walk to it if we just need to grab something. I just love that lifestyle of, even though we live in a small town and not a large city where we have everything, still even the small rural towns are built in a way that are walkable. And I really do enjoy that, just kind of everything feeling smaller and close together, but still then having all of the wide spaces and nature to be able to go walk and kind of spread out and get away. I like that setup.
I do too, because I mean, of course, if you live in a big city in the States, everything could be walkable, but then you're dealing with the negatives of being in a big city. So I feel like we get the best of both, being in a small town, but we still can walk to everything. Where in the States, if you're in a small town, you can't really, you're gonna be driving between things a lot, so.
And then the other thing that we love the most about living in Germany, I think, is kind of like goes back to our goal of why we moved here. And part of that was to be able to travel really easily and just being able to be here and go to so many amazing diverse cultures, so closely packed together, but be able to go visit all these dream destinations like Venice one weekend and London the next. It just doesn't seem like a real life where we can say, oh, we had a trip planned to Salzburg, but we had to cancel it because it was rainy. And so we went to Paris instead. That just doesn't compute in my American mind still. And I love that we can have that ability to do that so cheaply and easily.
So how Germanized have we become? I think more than we realize, but less than you would expect.
Whoa, that was deep.
So we got two big questions that both were basically asking, what can Germans learn from Americans and what can Americans learn from Germans?
For a question like this, sometimes people will feel the pressure of giving this really deep philosophical message to the world that we can all learn from, and I don't think that I have that. Really, the biggest thing here recently, I've been kind of on a kick because I learned a new word that I had never heard of before, and maybe you've heard of it, but ethnocentrism. Basically this idea of, in my country, this is the way that we do things, and therefore because you do it differently, that's wrong or that's weird. And for me, the biggest thing that I've learned through this whole experience is coming at the world and realizing my worldview and perspective is very specific to my experiences and where we're from. And that's why we always say in our videos, I come from Oklahoma and now I live in this small part of Germany. So our worldviews are pretty dictated on that, and along with like our travel experiences and stuff. And so other worldviews and perspectives are just different worldviews or perspectives. Americans and Germans both can kind of be hard-headed in that we have the best way and we know the right way of doing things. And I think what we all need to learn is to just have an open mind to other cultures and other peoples and realize there's not always a right or wrong way of doing things. And actually we could all benefit from learning from your perspective because I maybe have never thought of it from that angle or something like that. So that's kind of my deep philosophical answer, I think is the biggest overarching theme of our experience being here. Okay. But I think if somebody wants like a more specific answer, Americans start showing up to things on time, Germans start relaxing a little bit if someone doesn't show up exactly on time.
I think Americans could learn a better work-life balance from Germans. And I'm not saying all Americans are like that. I like that Germans are very hard workers. They're known for being very hard workers, but they also really value their time outside of work and really value their vacation time. And that's a big part of their life. I think Americans, we could try to find that balance a little better. But I think Germans could learn from Americans the value of customer service, which sometimes I think we can take a little too far and let people run all over retail people or people in the workplace. But I think in Germany, sometimes I feel very, they can be kind of mean. So I think they could work to make the shopping experience better or the dining experience better without compromising their own human dignity.
So of all the questions that we got though, there was one question that seemed like it was the burning question because we had it more than any other question. So many of you wanted to know, probably including our families, how long are we going to stay in Germany? Maybe you don't know, we originally wanted to go live abroad for 1 year and experience another culture and another life. However, we struggled to find a way to move abroad. We ended up quitting our jobs and we just traveled for about 9 months. The goal was still 1 year, but then in that 9 months, Aubrey found this job in Germany. So we told ourselves, let's go do 1 year in Germany. Well, now you see this video is 2 years. Part of that is because of the world situation and a lot of our plans getting derailed and not being able to travel and experience as much as we wanted. We thought we need to give ourselves more time to be able to do that. But with that, I mean, we also have really enjoyed our lives here. And so we talk about, do we want to stay here longer? Do we want to go back to the US, but also we have some other dreams that we want to do potentially one day. You know, we're not entirely sure when or if or what, but like we would also like to live in the UK at some point.
The plan still definitely is to move back to the States. We just don't know when that will be and what other adventures will happen in between that time. Or after moving back to the States, maybe we'll go somewhere else after that. Who knows? But I think That is something that we have really enjoyed about this whole experience, is not knowing and just getting to dream a lot. And we're just open to whatever comes next and excited about whatever opportunities come our way.
So I know that is a very dissatisfying answer for all of you guys that want to know how long we're gonna be here, but truly, we are not pulling the wool over your eyes. We have no idea. We love it here. Who knows what could happen in our lives that might send us, we don't know. Really, we have no idea, but we do love it here. We do know that. We also love it other places too. We do want to take a second to thank you guys for your support on our journey. It really means a lot to us that you are interested in our adventures, and your support goes a long way for us. Let us know in the comments how long you have been following along, and if you've been around for the 3 years that we've been on YouTube or the 2 years that we've been in Germany, be sure to let us know below. To see who made it this far in the video, Wiener Schnitzel or Jägerschnitzel? If both are on the menu, which one are you getting? If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit that like and subscribe buttons, and we will see you in our next video.
Cheers!
Whenever I have an eye appointment, just go walk down to see the optometrician.
Optometrist?
I almost say the optimist. See the,
The optimist.
Yeah. And so us coming over here, or what was I gonna say?
Voice.
Go ahead. I'm editing all that out.